Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is Skiing Ultimatum Dan Ryan.
You never know what you're going to say.
February is almost over, and thus it is once again time for the 10, 20, 30, 40. Don't forget to eat some fruit because I still didn't change.
Because I still got one from 2 weeks ago.
Damn it, it's relevant again. The Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now.
This is going well.
I looked right at it when I was doing my notes earlier today, and then something must have distracted me. Hi, everyone. This is episode 347. It's the week of February 26th, 2021, and Dan and I continue to be alive.
Barely.
So
barely holding on, Kris.
We've had a week, huh? There's been some really major news. Surprisingly, we don't know any more about the Zelda anniversary than we did last time.
So we record the here's all the anniversaries coming up, and then as soon as we're done recording, it's like, oh shit, there's a Nintendo Direct, not a Nintendo Direct Mini. No.
Yeah, no, the first one in over a year, I think.
Yeah, fuck all that 2020 shit. We're not doing these minis anymore. This is a full in your fucking just on your face, neck, and chest Nintendo Direct. Shamelessly stolen from Kevin Smith, and I don't even care. And I was like, oh my god, I saw that, and we're getting Zelda new. We have to be. It's the 35th anniversary. They're doing a Nintendo Direct. Of course they're not going to have Yuma get up there and be like, I apologize for not having any information about Zelda. Of course they're not going to do that. And yet, they did.
There he was. Sorry, no news on Breath of the Wild 2. No mention of the anniversary.
Nothing. Just did fucking proverbial fart in church. Just
Skyward
didn't even
Sword
go over.
HD, that made me very happy. I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Right? Because I'm looking at it they're waving waving around. I'm thinking all right, the Joy-Cons, all right. I mean, I guess that's how you do it. The game's very motion based. I just wish they would have figured out a way to do it with regular controls. And then they're like, oh, and by the way, so you can do it in handheld on the end on the Switch Lite. Here's some analog stick controls, and I'm like, that I can work with that.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
can give that a shot. Well, we're gonna see.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't know that I love it yet because and that's the thing. It is really a very, very much a would you damn kids get off my lawn? But I just want to push the buttons. I don't want to do this other shit.
Well, that's kind of the thing.
I just don't.
Since you haven't played through the game, you have to have access to all of those different directions of sword swing. Unless you fundamentally change the way the game works.
Sure.
Because
I get that.
There's puzzles where you have to move your sword around, and there's eyeballs that'll look at you, and they're just looking at where your sword's pointing, and so you spin it around a whole lot so the eye gets dizzy and then it kills itself. There's stuff like that in the game. You need to have that level of control over your sword. That's what makes the gameplay. So I get that they needed to do something, and I really like this idea. I feel like I could get behind this, and even if not, I'll probably swing around the Joy-Cons a little bit. But for the most part, I just want to play it in HD with my Pro controller, and I'm happy as a pig in poo. I don't. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit more about the Nintendo Direct in thorough, but I just want to kind of throw out there that I've seen a lot, and I mean a lot, of people on social media using the term anti-consumer, and I don't think that means what they think it means.
About what?
Well, Nintendo's charging $60 for their Skyward Sword remake.
Yeah?
That's anti-consumer, Dan, because it's a higher price than I want to pay, therefore it's anti-consumer. The Joy-Con drift thing, that's anti-consumer. The way that they're doing that whole thing, that's anti-consumer. The fact that they're charging $60 for remakes and ports, They sold 650 trillion copies of Mario Kart 8. You think they're going to stop selling them at $60?
Yeah, like, I mean, look, I will...
Out of your goddamn mind?
I will 100% jump on board given every opportunity of the down with capitalism train. I'm fully on board. I'm conducting this train, right? Like, I'm conducting, I'm shoveling coal into the fucking engine. Like, I'm tooting the whistle, all right? But, that being said, they're business, and as long as people continue to pay $60 for Mario Kart 8 and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and all of these games that came out previously, they're going to continue to do what Nintendo does, which is charge full price for this shit.
And
it's the way it's always been.
To kind of wrap that up there, another part of this is the whole... I used to work at a comic book store that seemed like it was crazy, and I have a lot of issues with this comic book store I used to work at. But one of the things that I appreciated that they did, which I didn't at first, but it eventually made sense, they never charged anything less than cover value for back issues. And I thought that was insane. You'd sell so much more if you put them out for $1. And said, well, yes, we could do that, but it devalues the book. Because then you look at it and say, well, then this is only... That's just the way this should be. These should be $1. Why?
I'll wait 6 months and it'll be $1.
Exactly. Like, these should be $1. So you get a lot of people that jump out there and say, well, Activision put the Crash trilogy, full 3 remakes, full of them, for like $40. Like, well, cool. That's awesome, because that is now, that much effort is now worth $40. Like, you see what I mean? And
yeah, I don't know that I 100% agree with that. But
that's I'm not saying that's what it's actually worth. I'm saying that's the perception. The perception now is that, oh, well, if this is $40, then everything should be like, why can I get this for this and not that for that? And it's all about protecting the IPs. And I would love to get Nintendo games for cheaper, but I understand the theory behind it. They don't drop the prices of those games because that is a business strategy that works for them, and it keeps...
And it always has.
It always has. It makes it seem like their products are premium, even if they're not. Like that Kirby game that was released, Kirby Star Allies. It was cute, but it's not a $60 game in my humble opinion. But it puts that perception out on the store shelf. Well, this is the $60. This is a $60 one. This game is still expensive. There must be a reason for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's about customer perception. It's not anti-consumer. Is really the bottom line.
It's not anti-consumer. That's just
a talking point somebody heard and is parroting.
It's ignorant in the very, very literal definition of what ignorant is. You just don't understand what that means. It's also part of why I think, and I don't know, this is conjecture purely on my point, but the cheapest games that are on sale on the Switch, and I'm not even talking about like the games that are a penny, right? I'm talking about like 49 cents, $1, that sort of thing. You don't find that on PlayStation. That's not a thing that happens. There's no 49-cent game on the PlayStation. Now, Nintendo might be doing that or might allow that because their games are never going to be cheaper. You know, you might get a $5 sale every now and again, but their games are what you're saying. They're always the premium, and then there's the rest of this shit down here. Mm-hmm. And that is their model. Ultimately, though, it comes down to it's not anti-consumer, it's entirely driven by the consumer.
Yeah, everyone's bitching about Skyward Sword, but it was the best-selling game on Amazon once the pre-orders went up.
Yeah, like, if you don't pay that price, they won't fucking charge that much. It's the same thing, like, we've talked about it a few times on here. I think flippers and all that, like in baseball cards and video games and comic books and toys and all that stuff, flippers are the scum of the earth. Absolute dog shit. But they would stop if everybody else would stop buying it from them. If they can walk into a store and buy a $20 thing and turn around and put it on eBay or put it on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or Mercari or any of these other fucking gig economy sites that exist now, and they can turn a profit on it because people are willing to pay double and triple the markup, then they're going to do that. That's what a free market is. That's the very basis of what our fucking economic system is. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. The only way to stop it is to not pay it. That's all. It's pretty simple. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, at a certain point.
It's not hard.
I mean, now, you do have to factor in the Nintendo insanity in all of this, because they were, for the most part, charging full price for Wii U games, and people weren't buying them.
Sure.
But
sure.
The logic would dictate that at a certain point. I mean, like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze came out at was $50 instead of $60 on Wii U. And I don't know, maybe there's something to the fact that game sat next to other games that were $60, and people looked at it and said, well, what's wrong with that one? Why is Nintendo only charging $50 for that instead of $60? There must be something wrong with it. I don't know. The whole thing's a mystery, but all I know is that I'm just so sick of people jumping up and down to just barf up that anti-consumer phrase.
It's straw men don't hit back. So it's an easy target. It's an easy target to get a couple of clicks on Twitter, or get a couple retweets of like, ooh, I had this fucking bullshit hot take. You know what I mean? I went out and I threw some fucking words out there. Mm-hmm. And we're all like learning, because we talk about Twitter and we talk about social media and all these things like they've been around forever, and they haven't. Like it's brand new still. You know what I mean? Like, still, in the way that we use it and communicate through it and all of those things, the way that we interact on these platforms is completely fucking new. So there's going to be some growing pains out here, and there's a lot of feeling about a lot of stuff. And I know that's rich coming from us on a podcast, where all we do every week is talk about our feelings. But yeah, there's a lot of like how we approach and interact with things, and what the ultimate goal of that message is. Is that the goal of that message to have a rich discussion about what anti-consumerism actually means and the theories behind it, and to get into different economic arguments and theory and discussion and all of those things, and to challenge yourself and to learn and to grow? Or is it to be like, well, look, I took the piss out of Nintendo and I got a couple retweets? So that's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of this bullshit hot take, but then everything becomes bullshit hot takes, and it's hard to wade through the ocean of bullshit to get to actual like meaningful content. You know, we could have gone out and put out a podcast after, like, we could have blitzed social media the second we finished the recording with Tommy Tallarico of controversial Amico president. Tommy Tallarico comes on. Like, just go look at the way people introduce Tommy in his shit. You know what I mean? Like, all these fucking superlatives that are just thrown around it. We could have done that and probably gotten new ears and eyes on the podcast, but we didn't because it's bullshit. You know, and like, that's just not us. So
yeah, we're a different brand of bullshit.
We're a fun brand of bullshit. Where it's not bullshit, it's not mean, as long as everybody's having fun. That's what I learned on an episode of Bluey this week.
That show's great.
So this is weird tangent. Tiff and I, like, it was Saturday night, and we were just like flipping around the channels. And she was like, "What the fuck is that Bluey thing?" And I was like, "You don't fucking know what Bluey is? How do I know what Bluey is and you don't? You're a mother, and traditional gender stereotypes tell me that you're way more clued into kids programming than I am." It's like, but whatever. So I was like, "Oh, it's like this super popular like Australian show or whatever," and you know, kids really love it and it teaches a message. And I was like, "Look, like, just put it on for a minute." And we watched like a 12-minute episode of Bluey together, and the dad and the whole family was talking about bullying and teasing. And like, Tiff is just staring at me the whole time Bluey's on, because everything the dad did in that episode, where he was like, "That's not teasing, that's hilarious," is something that I do to the children. Every single fucking thing he did. I was like, "Oh my God, am I a bad person? Am I learning?" And then by the end of it, it was like, "No, it's not teasing because we're all having fun." I was like, "That's right, we are." Like, I change the kids' names all the time. I fuck with them and tell them their sister Samantha lives in the attic.
Well, you have twins. That's like, you have to do that.
Mm-hmm. I do the volume knob thing, like where I'm talking and I'll just like twist an imaginary knob and like stop talking, but keep moving my mouth. It's hilarious. Everybody loves that. Anyway, so that's what I did this week. I watched Bluey. I didn't play any video games. I've just been watching Bluey marathons. God, what did I play this week? I finished Cyber Shadow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I my final death count, I don't know if this is good or bad, was 466. It sounds bad. It sounds like really bad. I think it was
higher than mine. I think I was in the 300s, but I don't remember. It was a couple of weeks ago.
To be fair, I'm not the only one who played it. The girls were like, "Can I try?" And I was like, "Yeah, go right ahead." And they were like, "Dead." See? Because they kept like talking shit while I was playing it. They were like, that doesn't look that hard. I'm like, "All right, go. Fight the fucking spider rail. Go nuts. Enjoy." And it did not go well for them. But yeah, like it. So where do you fall on that game? Like out of 10? I feel like I'll set, like, I'll go for it. This isn't me like setting it up so that I can just hear what I have to say. I am genuinely curious about your opinion. I feel like I'm at like a 7.5, closer to a 7 than an 8. I liked it a lot, but I have some issues with it.
Yeah, I'm probably right around the same place. Like if I was seriously reviewing this, I'd probably put it around. Guess, boy, when it works, it really works. But there was it didn't grab me like The Messenger grabbed me. You know, The Messenger, by the time I was done with that game, I was so completely enthralled with it.
With every aspect of it.
Exactly. Like there was never a point in The Messenger where I felt like what I was doing, the cool moves that I was doing with like the jumping and then hitting the torch so that you could jump again and then do all that, like the really advanced stuff. Whereas in this game, the advanced stuff, like the dash attack, there are so many times where I felt like it should have done something and it didn't. Like, the mechanics didn't feel 100%. So yeah, I think I still might. Yeah, 7.5 sounds good to me. That sounds, because this is a really, really good game, and I
think people should play it. 100%.
Absolutely recommend it to everybody who likes this kind of game. Just expect there to be some bumpiness. That's all. It's not perfect, and it doesn't need to be. 7.5 is a damn fine score, but that's probably where I'd sit on it.
Yeah, there were a couple things where it just a few times where it felt cheap. In that the buttons are not, the controls are just not as tight as they should be, and there's some sections in that game that demand some pretty precision platforming, and there are just a couple issues that I had with it, and I don't know if that's everybody else's experience, certainly. But yeah, like it was definitely frustrating, but I certainly enjoyed it. You know, I definitely liked it. I think it was well worth the money. And very impressive to come from such a small studio, like I think two people total.
Yeah, and they did get some help from Yacht Club cleaning it up and whatnot, making it, bringing it up to its full potential. And I just love it. I think it would be really great to see a sequel and see where they go with this. But I thought it was great. Really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. I liked a lot of the cutscenes. I thought were really well done. I thought the music was really good. I feel like there could have been a bit more guidance with the exploration. Not that I need you to hold my hand, but there was some shit that, like, oh, there's a hidden area back here, and there's no indication that you can even get to any of this. And, like, I understand that that's how it was back in the day of, like, well, I'm just going to jump and hit every fucking block in Mario to see what it does. But we're adults, and that's just not how we play games anymore.
See, I did not have that problem. I felt every hidden place that I needed to get to, I was able to spot pretty quickly. Like, well, that wall's suspicious. And I'd be playing it with John, and he's maybe it's just like the way I've worked through playing a bunch of Zelda games with him, but like
maybe
we'd both be like moving around, and John would be like, that wall's suspicious, and I'd be like, I agree, buddy. And then we go up there and we'd hit it with something, and there'd be a secret behind it. Like,
yeah.
I didn't get that from this, where being opaque, like say the original Metroid or something. It always seemed like, well, there's an area where there's absolutely nothing happening. That's not okay. Like, there's no bad guys. There's no platforms. There's just nothing. There's got to be something there.
It's got to be something.
And then usually there was. That I don't know. Maybe it's just the way my brain's been trained to work after all these years. But
I don't know. I felt like there was a couple things where I was just like, well, I'm going to try jumping up on the side of all of these things. And, oh, look, this one happened to have a secret when the rest of them didn't. You know, like there was just a couple of those. Yeah, I don't... Because I will agree, there are some things where it's like, well, that's a very obviously differently colored wall. I'm going to go punch that, you know? Yeah, I still really good. Really, really liked it. Then let's see what else. Katie and I have collected every piece of fruit in Pikmin 3. We have, I think we're 70-something bottles of juice.
Goodness
like that we have right now.
Well
it's
done.
Absurd. Yeah, it's absurd. We got the achievement for that or whatever, like the little in-game message that pops up, and we got the in-game message that pops up for growing over 1,000 Pikmin. So we are going to finish that, I think, tomorrow. We're going to fight the Plasm Wraith or whatever and get Captain Olimar back. And then...
That thing was a bitch.
Yeah, he sucks.
I think it took us like 3 tries. But once we finally got it, it was like, all right, we have a plan now. We put this together and we kicked its ass. It just, that one. But then did I talk about this last time? I don't remember. I feel like
I don't think you talked about your experience with it.
Because, like, I mean, we beat the game last week, and we beat the Plasm Wraith, and I couldn't wait to see what happened next, and then nothing happened next. It was the end of the game.
Yeah, it does kind of end abruptly.
I just figured, like, all right, well, we got them. Can I court Marshal Louis now?
Can I fucking, like, just put this guy in the brig or some shit?
Are there going to be some consequences? This dude stole all of our food.
Yeah.
I get it. You're a hungry, funny dude, but there's 3 people on this spaceship who are going to die because you stole all of our food, you asshole.
Not only on our spaceship, but our planet.
Yeah.
Our whole planet's going to die.
And he expressed no remorse at all whatsoever. He was just like, food! I gotta eat food!
Yeah.
What is this man? Get him off of my ship. Keep him tied up. And he stole the captain's ducky, too.
Yeah,
what a dick.
That is the worst.
That's the icing on the tombstone as far as I'm concerned.
It really is.
You were a jerk when you stole the food, but then you stole the duck. That's malicious intent. That's not I'm scared.
Balloons.
I'm taking this. It's mine now.
He stole my balloons, Kris.
Fuck
what kind of a man dresses up like a bat?
I was literally just looking. Apparently, they're reissuing the score on vinyl.
Oh, and that's very nice.
I was hoping it was the soundtrack with the Prince music because the vinyl is half black and half purple.
Yes.
But it's not the Prince stuff. It's just it's just the Danny Elfman score, which is amazing, but still.
Which is great, but still.
You're going to make a half purple record and not put the Prince stuff. I mean, anyway.
New king in town. Yeah, that fucking shit's dope. Not a big Prince guy. Never was.
Yeah, me neither. But Batman
that shit
soundtrack was great.
Yeah, it was really good. Oh man, did we play anything else? I'm trying before we talk about Pad for a minute.
Well, to piggyback off of your Pikmin stuff, we because I said last week we beat Pikmin and we were going to move on to Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh yeah.
We still haven't started Marvel Ultimate Alliance because there's a lot of post-game content in Pikmin 3 Deluxe. We're still going through those Olimar missions.
Yeah.
And they're really fun, but we're on like day 5 or 6 and it's still going. So, all right, I'm in. Let's keep going.
Yeah, Katie is doing those with Penny and the main story with me.
Nice.
So like she's doing some of the side mission stuff with her sister, which is cool.
So yeah, sorry we haven't started Marvel yet. Greg,
I'm curious as to what you think.
One of our listeners wanted to know what I thought, and we just haven't started it yet. But we will as soon as Pikmin's over. But we gotta finish Pikmin first.
I did end up purchasing because I had points on the eShop, and I was just fucking around. So I was like, oh, I can get Super Punch Patrol for no money.
Nice.
All right, cool. I'm gonna get Super Punch Patrol for no money. And it is a lovely, competent little beat 'em up.
Right, it's great.
And I love the games that guy makes. I love the way they look. I love the way they move. I love the way they sound. I love a good beat 'em up. Super Punch Patrol is great. It's a shame it had to come out.
Force?
No, I did not get that yet.
That game is awesome.
I will. I just haven't yet, and I don't really have a good reason why I haven't.
It's more of a production than Super Punch Patrol.
Right.
It was a much more, like, it's all full color. It uses his art style kind of stuff in a really interesting way. It's a wonderful, wonderful game. It's much more meaty than Gunman Clive and Super Punch Patrol as far as, like, just how well thought out it was.
I was playing Super Punch Patrol and Tiff came in the room and she was like, "Why are you beating up the extras from the fucking Take On Me video?" It's like,
wouldn't
fair.
you?
Yeah, these guys were assholes.
It's like, excuse me, why wouldn't I be?
Look at you with your fucking striped shirt. That's not cool. You look like a mime. Get out of here. Yeah. And oh man, we bought this game and I just haven't had a chance to play it yet. I bought another game on the Switch because it was super cheap. Called I think it's called Semblance, and it's this weird little platformer where you're like this tiny little blob, but as you go through the levels you like transform the levels. So like in the trailer, and like I said, I haven't played it yet. I bought it because it was like $2 or $2.50 or whatever. But they showed this one area where there was like a laser shooting, and what you had to do was jump up and down to where you would bend the ground as you hit it so that the laser would kind of move into a position where it wouldn't hit you when you jumped, and then you could get over it. So you have to like terraform the world as you make your way through it.
Well, that sounds neat.
Every now and again, the eShop is like really, really great and fun to look through. And most of the time, it's god-awful to make your way through. I find. Because there's just
you are correct.
There is so much shit on there.
Yeah, really the only way to not be lost in shit is to check on it regularly.
Yeah.
Because if you're not there at least once a week, there's just going to be like, oh, well, was there an interesting game you wanted? Here's 35 shovelware games that came out yesterday.
And they're 28 cents.
Here's a $5 racing game about penguins. Like just
yeah, oh god, there's just so much
cell phone schlock on there.
Yeah.
And I love the Switch with every fiber of my being, but yeah, the eShop is problematic.
It's an unwieldy beast. It is very, very difficult. Discoverability is a challenge, I feel, on that platform. And I don't know what they could do to make it better and still have the amount of content that they obviously want to have on their platform.
Yeah, I mean, at what point, this is an actual question. I'm not sticking up for Nintendo for this,
right.
But at what point do you curate the games that are allowed to be on your system for quality? Like, I mean, not like they're not just stupid, hideous. It's not like quite like Steam where it's all these like super offensive asset flips or whatever, but we're still talking like really, really, really low effort cell phone games just being ported over to Switch because that's where people throw money at games. So,
well, and it's apparently very easy to just port it over to that.
Exactly. So at what point do you, like, how do you choose? How do you like pick and choose what games are allowed on your platform? And I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in charge of a multi-billion-dollar company. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. That is very, very true. It does feel like there is a better way to do it, and I don't know. So we'll do that. But the main thing that I've been focused on, and it only started yesterday, was the Marvel collab in Puzzle and Dragons, because this turned into just a massive fucking thing. So, like a couple of weeks ago, before their 9th anniversary event, which was this past Thursday, they had like a 2.5-hour stream. It was just crazy. And they did announce that in addition to the Marvel collab, that Monster Hunter was coming back for a couple days, which, you know, great. Monster Hunter's awesome. But that Street Fighter for the is celebrating this new content pack for Street Fighter V, that the Street Fighter collab would be coming back, which I'm very, very excited about, because now that the Marvel collab is here, I can build a Marvel versus Capcom team in Puzzle and Dragons, and that makes me super fucking happy. So when this thing was originally announced, it was like, okay, we're gonna have a Marvel collab. Here's some of the cards, and they showed like 7 cards or something like that. And usually when they have a new collab, it's 10 cards, 11 cards, you know what I mean? Like 2 at the highest rarity, a couple of middle rarity cards, and then like 5 or 6 low rarity. You know what I mean? Makes sense. Like the odds that you would have buying Magic the Gathering of Pokemon cards, whatever. The Marvel collab, when they got done showing everything, is now 21 cards. 21 individual cards. And each card has, at minimum, 3 different forms that it can take on. They have the regular card. Some of them have a transformation or an evolution from their base card. And then they each have an equip form that is either a modern day comic book cover that's animated, like it kind of flips around the screen and like there's a bunch of light and shit behind it, or it's a classic cover, which is so cool. Like the Loki card that's here, one of his equips is an issue of Loki that came out like 2 or 3 years ago, and then the other equip is a cover from Journey into Mystery when they first introduced Loki, and it's just really fucking cool. And they did a thing that people are pissed about on Twitter. Japanese Twitter is a little angry about it, but it makes sense. Like this one I do understand. Again, not sticking up for the billion-dollar corporation, but like in the scope of the story, it makes sense. Thanos is one of the cards. I just actually ended up rolling him today. And if you want to evolve Thanos into Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, you can do that one time. The Infinity Stones are a special evolvable material that you can only get one copy of in your game. So if you get Thanos and you evolve him to Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, if you ever want to change that, until this collab, if it ever comes back again, you cannot get another set of Infinity Stones. And I thought that was kind of cool. Everybody else is real pissed about it. I was like, No, there's like one Infinity Gauntlet. That's it. There's one set of stones. You can't go have other ones. I mean, I know that was the whole plot of the movie, but like that's not really how it works in any of the comic books. So, it's big, it's fun, all the cards are awesome, all the artwork is really cool. I ended up rolling almost everything I wanted except for Spider-Man and Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel somehow ended up like the strongest card in the game. It's just absolutely absurd, the low effort, high reward that card provides to this game. And I have enough to trade for either Captain Marvel or Spider-Man, and it's a weird decision to make of, do I get the strongest card or like, but Spider-Man? Yeah, but it's Spidey.
But it's Spidey. Yeah,
but it's Spidey. Spider-Man. Like, I mean, Captain Marvel's a way better card, but Spider-Man though.
Yeah. but Spider-Man.
But Spider-Man, you know. But Spider-Man is way different than regular Spider-Man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's really cool, though, and I really, really hope it comes to North America. No guarantee that it will, but I can't imagine it wouldn't. That would be odd.
Famous last words.
Well, no, like the big controversy about it is that the Disney collab that they had a little while ago never came to North America. And Disney Japan and Disney North America are two very, very different places. Very, very different aspects of one company. Marvel, on the other hand, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Maybe they will be crazy about it. I doubt it. It doesn't seem likely to me, because all of the comic book covers that are in the game as equips are all in English. None of them are translated Japanese covers or anything. Like, even the modern stuff is all in English. Like, there's a Storm card in there, and it is from her miniseries with Greg Land's artwork, and it very clearly says Greg Land's name on the comic book. You know, like, you can read that part, so that to me makes it seem a little bit more likely, but the fuck do I know?
Well, I'm rooting for you. I hope it comes your way and fills you with sunshine and butt spiders.
So far, the sunshine and butt spiders are here, so it would be even sweeter if it came to North America. And if it doesn't, I know enough Japanese to, and by know enough, I mean I know little to none, but I do know where all the buttons are and what they do. So that's really all that matters.
Usually is.
How does this thing work? I don't know. I pressed this button, figured out what it did, and then I just remembered.
All right, well, let's see if I can blow through some of these real quick. We got and beat Bowser's Fury.
Oh, nice.
I wish you... Did you buy it? Did you guys want that one?
No, they're not interested.
Damn.
Or at least not yet.
I mean, I still hold that Mario 3D World is an outstanding game, but Bowser's Fury in particular, I feel is the perfect Mario game for you, because it's got kaiju references all over the place. And
I do like that.
It's really short and really, it's just this tight, short little package of awesomeness.
All right, fuck it, send it to me. I'll play it.
I can't send it to you. My son's not done playing it. He's still playing it.
Well, fuck
he still
him.
jumps in there and goes nuts, and like he's listening to the soundtrack all the time. Like, he fucking loves this thing. Plus, we still have some shines to find. Like, we beat the main story,
okay,
but there's still like all these shines to find and whatnot, which is really, like, it's not a slog at all. It's really fun.
That's awesome.
Because it's so small. It's just this 3-hour thing that's so it doesn't get old, and it's just full of clever bits. It's great. I really, really like it. Music's great. Fury Bowser's an awesome design. I love the. Did I talk about Bowser's Fury last week? I feel like
a little bit,
yeah. The side eye that Mario gives, it's just beautiful. No, that game's great, absolutely great. Still have a few shines to find. For the Zelda anniversary that was yesterday, that Nintendo did not acknowledge once
at all
day.
Not even on Twitter. Not even
they
just
put on
bullshit.
Like an ad for the UFO game, which looks really cute, and I'd love to buy it. But like, it's like, hey, check out this UFO game, and then all the comments are like, Nintendo, seriously, like, you know what today is, right? You're not even going to mention it. Like, okay, you want to hold off until after the Mario anniversary is over, March 31st. Fine. Do what you're going to do. But like today, could you just put out a tweet and says, "Happy birthday, Legend of Zelda"?
And like it got to the point where I started to see speculation building of like there's going to be a huge announcement today. That's why they haven't said anything. They're not even mentioning it because there's going to be just a bombshell of like, fuck, I can't believe that's amazing. Nope.
There's going to be nothing.
There's going to be absolutely nothing.
I'm also convinced that Skyward Sword is all we're getting for the Zelda anniversary. Like, they're just going to let this one roll. Like, we did the Mario one, and it was fun, but
fuck Zelda. Hate
Fuck
that
'em.
game.
What's a Metroid?
What's a Metroid? Link is the boy, right? Or no,
Yeah.
Link is the girl.
Fuck him. I don't know. So I played through most of the Famicom version of Zelda on my Switch, and
Nice.
it's great. That's always good. It's Legend of Zelda. Yeah. What's not to love? I just sat back and enjoyed as much of it as I could fit in on Sunday, and it was just wonderful. I think I got to level 6. I think as much time as I had, but, felt good. I tried out that Capcom arcade stadium.
Yeah, how was that?
I'm not buying it.
No.
It's nice to have a arcade perfect Ghosts and Goblins with a rewind function. That's kind of cool.
What game comes with it? Was it 1943?
It's 1943.
Yeah, I do
Which was
love
also cool.
love
I haven't played that in a
1943.
long time. That was fun.
That's great.
But I just booted that up and played 1943, and then I played the Ghosts and Goblins was free as well, I think for like a day or two. And so I got
Missed
those.
that.
But I looked at all the bundles like, well, I'm not paying for this though.
Yeah, no,
have
I'm not dropping that kind of coin for these old arcade games.
I mean, I would if I didn't already have most of them. Like, I have the Street Fighter collection, and
Yeah.
I mean, there's that other Final Fight thing that's available on Switch. I mean, these are neat, but like I'm not super into arcade shooters, so like it was similar to the Konami one, where it's like, well, I mean, this is all cool stuff, but and it's not like it's poorly priced. They're like $17 for a buttload of arcade games or something, but it's like,
But still,
yeah, they're not really grabbing me. So, we'll see. I'll keep my eyes on it.
those things go on sale frequently. Those collections, like the bundle piece goes like, oh, this bundle is like only $4 right now. It's like, all right, fine. I'll pay $4 for Final Fight or whatever.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm still kind of holding out hope for some sort of Final Fight collection, Because
that seems like a no-brainer, right?
Right, we haven't had, Wii Virtual Console, I think, was the last place we saw Final Fight 2 and 3. And could you just, bundle Final Fight 1, 2, and 3 together? Like, I know there weren't arcade versions, but, let's do this thing, huh?
Yeah.
Hook us up with some proper Final Fight action.
Or just like a new one. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Streets of Rage 4 worked out great.
It did.
I started playing the Bloodstained Classic mode. Did you try this?
I did not. My copy of Bloodstain just came back to my house last week.
Oh. Well, the Bloodstained Classic mode also, I think, just came out last week.
Oh, did it? All right.
Yeah,
well, I'll
you're
take
not,
it back then.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. you didn't miss any time with that particular mode.
Didn't even know about it.
Yeah, no, it's brand new, and it's I don't know. I'm kind of two minds on it. It feels a little. It's very, and it's Bloodstained Castlevania 1.
Oh God, that doesn't sound great.
It's that's the whole point of it. It's like the music is all chip tunes, but the graphics aren't, and because it still has just the runs in the regular game engine, but you control more similar to the way Simon Belmont does. So you jump and you have to commit to that jump kind of a thing.
Yeah,
and it's something doesn't feel quite right about the controls. And I think it's a little too close to Castlevania. Like once the novelty wore off, I'm playing the stage that's just like stage 2 in Castlevania, and I'm like, I'd rather be playing Castlevania. Like,
right.
the whole point of Bloodstain was like, well, I can't make Castlevania for you, so I'm going to do my best to make a new one and just make something that's super similar to it. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to paint it up with these new characters. But now you're effectively just making an old Castlevania with your new characters, and it's
doesn't work as well.
Yeah, I mean, really, but it can, right? Those Bloodstain Curse of the Moon ones.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, those are pretty solid. This is like, I mean, seriously, the stage layouts are remarkably similar to, I mean, I only got through the first 2 stages, and they were both very similar to the first 2 stages in Castlevania for NES. And it's neat. It's a really neat thing, but I'm probably not going to finish it because it started to get a little frustrating because it just didn't feel as good as Castlevania. But it's, you're running around as what's her name, Miriam, with a whip, and getting items that work exactly like the boomerang cross and the holy water, but they aren't, and enemies that act exactly like the Medusa heads and the zombies, but aren't. It's a thing. It's very cheap, and it's free too. It's not like you have to pay for this. It's a free update that comes with your copy of the game, so
can't be mad at that.
Yeah, have fun with it, and the music's great. It's a really neat trick, but it's not something I'm going to stick with. I
apologize if you hear crunching in the background. The current new foster dog that's here has decided that she loves me best and will not hear anything about it from anyone. She will be with me all day. I left to go to the store, and she sat by the door, scratching at it until I came home, which is sweet. Like that's great and all.
Yeah.
But like, you're loud and huge. So.
Let's see. I played a tiny bit of, but not nearly as much as I wanted to, of Fire and Ice, the only game that came to Nintendo Switch Online that I was actually genuinely interested in.
Yeah.
That one action game, I don't remember what it's called, the Super Nintendo one. Everyone I've seen that has played it has been like, yeah, this is kind of garbage. So
this is kind of terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's neat and interesting for a little bit, but it doesn't get any better the longer you play it. So not going to waste my time with that. But Fire and Ice is a cool ass game. I played like the first level and said, this is super cool. I should get back to this. And then I just haven't had the time. So I'm keeping that on my schedule. But I did finally boot up the DS version of Clubhouse games as requested.
Oh, nice.
And
no?
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't hate it, but I really like the presentation on the Switch one so much better.
You don't know what everybody was talking about?
Yeah, I like some of the things that are in it, like there's a mission mode and whatnot. That stuff's cool, and I really wish that was in the Switch game. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, and maybe it's just because I played the Switch one first, I like the personality on the Switch one. They put a lot of effort into giving the Switch game this really bizarre, kind of goofy personality. And they really, really, I like the menu, the way it all looks, the way it all fits together. And the DS one really just feels like a DS game, a collection of games. It's a well put together collection of games, but like,
sure.
I was playing on the couch earlier and, poking through the games, and Ellie was like, Ludo, I love Ludo, because we play Ludo on the Switch one.
Right.
And we booted it up, and it's extremely basic. Like, it doesn't look pretty in the least. And, the pieces don't, hop on the little blocks as you move your spaces. It's like, and there, and there. And in the Switch one, they go through the effort of just showing these really simple, ridiculous animations. Like when you play War, which is, they call it Spit on the DS one. When you're playing War, like, it makes this like sword shing sound when you put the cards down and they flip over. Like,
that's not nothing.
Exactly. These little details that kind of give it a little bit more personality. And I think that's the reason I never picked up Clubhouse games in the first place on the DS, because it was Clubhouse games. This is what this is. This is these games, and they're great, but
this is bullshit, and I don't want to do it.
Well, I mean, I could imagine it if I had a lot of time, downtime. It would be a great way to play solitaire or whatever. But what I find with the Switch version that I love so much is the whole communal aspect of it.
Right.
This is on my TV, and I can pass a Joy-Con to everyone, or just pass them around to one another because there's very few 4-player games. But the fact that it's on the TV and you can watch two people go back and forth and play War or Speed or whatever, or Karen's playing a ton of Solitaire lately, which is, I think I mentioned before, it's freaky how fast she is at that. But
Yeah.
I don't know, I think I understand why you would like the DS one better, but it didn't impress me because of what I like about the presentation of the Switch one, which I know kind of seems shallow, but it's kind of the way I consume games. The presentation means so much to me.
Right.
So I don't think it's right or wrong, and I definitely see the features of the DS one and say having more of that in here would have been pretty cool. But all in all, I still love the Switch one. So
we've all felt that you're very shallow. We don't say it to your face, but
I'm a shallow guy.
You are.
I guess I'll talk real quick about the Nintendo Direct because I lost my shit when they announced it, and it was all right.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fine. I hoped for more, and then it was over, and I said these are a lot of cool games for people who aren't me.
Yeah, I can see that. The the Smash reveals. I know people are excited about them.
I'm sure there's people who are excited.
I just feel like there's such letdowns anymore.
The Sephiroth one was a letdown. I don't think so.
Not
That was amazing.
Not all of them. Not all of them. But in general, I just it feels like they're out of the big gets, I don't know. It feels...
I don't know. I think there's plenty of big gets to get. I think one of my big problems is how JRPG focused they've been. Right?
Very, yeah.
Joker, Hero, Byleth, Sephiroth, and now Pyra and Mithra. That's a lot of JRPGs. Now,
yeah.
Joker was a really cool left field get. That was super cool. I never used the character. I have no connection to Persona, but I think that was a cool one. Getting a Dragon Quest represented? Hell yeah, get a Dragon. That's one of the most important game franchises of all time. Banjo and Kazooie, again, a franchise I don't even like, but I lost my mind at that trailer because I knew how happy that was making so many people, because that game means so much to so many people, and they put so much love and care into that character. That was great. Terry was amazing.
Terry's cool. Yeah.
Loved having the SNK representation. His stage was really clever with the way you bounce off the walls until you take enough damage and then you get sucked through. I just thought that was really cool. Byleth, that is enough. Fire Emblem. I don't care how interesting you've made the character's mechanics. That is enough. Fire Emblem. Stop. Then you go, so that was the first Fighter's Pass, and I'd say 4 out of 5 I think were really great choices. That's pretty solid. Now we're on to Fighter's Pass 2. I think ARMS was a great pick, and I love that Min Min was the pick that they went with. And she's a super interesting character to work with, and I think the character designs in ARMS are great. Steve and Alex, people of a certain age were out of their minds for that. That was huge. Then you get Sephiroth, which was also nuts. But Sephiroth, and this is where I feel on the Mithra and Pyra, whatever the hell their names are.
Yeah.
Sephiroth made Cloud feel more like he belonged. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that argument.
And Xenoblade Chronicles is... I've never played them. I own...
I own all of them?
I don't own all of them, but I'm interested in the franchise, and I know that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was it was the best-selling game in the series so far, and that franchise seems to mean a lot to Nintendo. And I liked the way the character looked. I thought it was a neat thing. Her moves look cool. The fact that she transforms back and forth between two kind of different styles, that's neat. I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. This was my Joker from round one. It's like,
right.
I am okay with this. I understand why you want to put this in there, and it makes Xenoblade Chronicles feel like less of an outlier. Like, you had Shulk, and that was cool, but they're trying to make Xenoblade Chronicles more of a thing. Now there's 3 different games in the franchise, so you've got 2 proper characters in this game. Okay, I'm cool with it. I'm not nuts about it, because Fighters Pass, we're at the end here, right? We're in the end game now. There's only 2 slots left after this. And, you already knew my big gets would be Ryu Hayabusa, Crash Bandicoot, and Master Chief. Well, one of those definitely isn't getting in, probably all 3. Who the hell knows?
Right.
So,
I think that's maybe more where I feel like it, of like, you had 3 spots left, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just... And again, this is me. I'm not, Smash Brothers is not for me. They're not putting in the characters. They could put Kratos in there, and I'm still not going to play it. That's not the point.
Yeah, because it's not.
He's in fucking Fortnite. I don't play that shit either. It's just not for me. I don't know. Just looking at that on the surface, it felt kind of like a letdown.
Yeah, and really what makes it a letdown to me, and why it wasn't with Sephiroth, is that every character, with the exception of Byleth, has added something to Smash. Here's a whole new piece of video game history that has not been touched on before. That's what makes this exciting to me.
Right.
ARMS gets put in there. Now there's ARMS in Smash Brothers. There's an ARMS stage. There's ARMS music. Like, that's great. Byleth gets thrown in there like... It's more Fire Emblem, and more Fire Emblem music, and another Fire Emblem stage, and more characters that look like Fire Emblem. It didn't add anything. Sephiroth was an exception to that, because Cloud was so limited.
Right.
There was 2 songs, and the stage was amazing, but there's no assist trophies, there's no spirits. It was just Cloud and his stage and 2 songs. Sephiroth filled that out. So now I feel like Final Fantasy is a bit more well represented in Smash.
Right.
So that was an exception to me. But everything else has added something to it. And that's kind of where I'm disappointed in this one. Like, I like the character designs. I like that it's another female fighter. I think that's really cool to see more of that. But it's not adding a new world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I was hoping to be paying for, is adding more unique worlds. But I still feel like I'm getting my money's worth, and we'll just see what the last 2 are.
Yeah.
Anyway, Skyward Sword HD, I'm excited about it. Splatoon 3 was a hell of a reveal.
Yeah, Katie she lost her mind.
I got to tell my niece about it, too. That was really fun, because she didn't know, and I told my niece about it, and she's like, wait, what? And she does not get super excited about things. So it was really cool to be able to do that for her. And I'm hopeful that we're going to see more of that the way it was introduced. Like, did you see the trailer, the bit for it?
Yeah.
That whole introduction, I'm hoping that's what the story mode is. I want to play in that world. The online stuff, of course, that's got to be there. That's the heart and soul of Splatoon.
Sure.
But the story mode in Splatoon 1 and 2 is great.
It is.
2 was not quite as good as 1, but it's great. And I'm hoping that stuff they showed off in the beginning of Splatoon 3 is like, this is what the world's going to be. Then in the single player mode, and when you want to go to play multiplayer, you hop on the train and go to that different city or whatever. I just think it looks great. I think it looks really great, and it is not lost on me that we've now gotten 3 Splatoon games since the last Mario Kart game.
Yeah.
But it's an up and coming franchise, and I don't blame Nintendo for putting the effort into it, because
people love it,
and
it's really good.
Great. Yeah,
it's really good.
Stuff.
I was excited, surprisingly enough, about the new Mario Golf.
That's where I was going next. That thing started up, I was like, this looks really good. And then they showed that running multiplayer mode. It's like, that's fucking genius. How did that not happen already? Because that looks awesome.
Yeah, that looks really fun. I was really surprised at how much, like, watching that, I was like, I could maybe be into this.
Yeah. I like Wario's outfit.
Yeah, I like Wario's outfit. Big fan.
That running, what the hell was it called? Rush mode or a golf rush? I don't know what it was called, but that cracked me up. It's like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. that just looks like so much goddamn fun.
Yeah, it really does.
And similarly, Fall Guys is coming to Switch. It's about damn
Which
time.
is great.
And
I'm so excited.
That was another thing that jumped out on me. I'm like super excited. Like, oh, I finally get to play Fall Guys. And like anytime I look at anything Fall Guys coming to Switch, it's just mountains of Twitter edgelords. Dead game. Nobody plays it. Dead game. Fuck you.
Yeah, just
fuck anybody who wants to jump into somewhere where people are happy about something and just say dead game. Oh, I'm sorry, the thousands and thousands of people who currently are playing it aren't compared to the millions of people that play Fortnite. But you know what? People are still playing it. Fuck anybody who wants to say dead game when something's being announced like that.
And also, like, theoretically, isn't it going to, like, have a resurgence in popularity when it is announced on the Switch and comes out?
Right? Oh no, they're did something like did a game just happen with Among Us or something started getting a lot more plays lately?
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. That's
did
weird.
Did that happen? Yeah, it's weird. I'm stoked. I'm getting it. I've been itching to try this game for a while. I'm super excited
rules.
about it.
Game's
It
great.
looks great. Let's see. I'm not going to go through everything. I do want to mention Knockout City. Seems like a really great idea with one of the most obnoxious trailers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I skipped through that. It was annoying me.
Fuck EA. I cannot. All right, so there were 2 surprises in here, like legit complete surprises. I cannot believe Nintendo is doing this. And the first one is they're fucking porting Metopia to the Switch.
Yeah. That's a whole thing.
Why? I mean, I understand why. Apparently, it's a pretty good game. Not amazing, but pretty good. And very few people played it on the 3DS because it was one of those later release 3DS games. Nobody really cared about Mii's anymore. It just
Do people care about them now? I don't know from an outsider perspective. Do people care?
I think, and this is just a theory, that you're starting to see the Wii nostalgia.
Okay.
Right? Like, the Mii's have been more or less gone for a while, but now I kind of think there's a little bit of like, I remember Mii's.
So it's Wii-stalgia?
Yeah.
Love some Wii-stalgia.
I don't know if this is going to move the needle at all. I hope it does, because it would open up the door for more 3DS ports on the Switch, which I think are way more interesting than Wii U ports, because 3DS games the Wii U games were already in HD. 3DS games are like, there's a lot of great stuff that's trapped on this tiny little screen that you can't play in HD in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. Those are very interesting to me. So that's cool. And Grezzo's other 3DS thing, Ever Oasis, fucking tanked. And it seems to me that like there's a handful of people out there who actually played it and said it was really good. I would love to see, just because of how much work Grezzo puts into other franchises like Zelda, I think it would be really cool to see them get to put Ever Oasis on the Switch, where it could potentially find a bigger audience, rather than being released super late in the 3DS's life and nobody cared. So, I don't know. Metopia was interesting. DC's Superhero Girls.
Yeah. It's a little too young for where my kids are at right now, but you know, in like a year or so, that might be something perfect for Ellie.
Yeah. It's being published by Nintendo.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, nobody knows who the developer is yet.
That's super weird.
It's super weird. And I remember looking at it thinking, this actually, it doesn't look like a very good game, but visually speaking, I thought it looked really cool. Like, it looks just like the property it's based on.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I turn to the internet, and it's like, this looks like a $5 cell phone game. I'm like, no, it really doesn't. It actually does not look. It doesn't. Sorry. I know you think this looks like a Flash game, but you just want to be an edgelord. I don't know. I hate people. But DC Superhero Girls does look, I mean, it's not for me. I just thought it was fascinating that it's like, wait, Nintendo's publishing this? So Nintendo has published a Marvel and a DC game now, and nobody knows who's making it. That's weird.
There can be games just for little girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Or little boys who like the DC superhero girls. Either
Also
way, it's cool. Don't worry about it. You guys will
They
all
did that,
be all
was it
right.
that Star Wars Hunter reveal, and I was like, Star Wars Hunters, huh? Is a Zynga? Nope, I'm out.
Nope. Out.
No, it's going to be a microtransaction laden third-person multi-shooter. Now I'm out.
Nope.
Not for me. I am interested in the Outer Wilds.
Yeah, Outer Wilds looks pretty cool.
I loved the music in that game, and that was only on Xbox, I think, before.
Yeah.
It was something that I was interested in. I don't know enough about it, but I'm not sure I care. I liked the music enough to be like, I might try this game. Anyway, go on.
What is your feeling on the Ninja Gaiden trilogy?
I'm going to buy it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I haven't played the original Xbox Ninja Gaiden in forever, and I never played 2 and 3. And I loved the first Ninja Gaiden on Xbox.
Yeah, I thought the first one was really good. I don't remember why I didn't like 2 or 3 as much.
I didn't even try 2 or 3. I always wanted to get around to it and just never did. But I loved the first Ninja Gaiden on Xbox. I thought it was super cool. I didn't like the story very much because it was just a bunch of anime nonsense, whereas like the NES one was anime nonsense, but like kind of in a good way.
Right.
But I didn't really care because I thought the game was really fun to play. And I thought it was... I remember, and it's been a long time, but I remember feeling like you'd be playing that game and I'd get my ass kicked, but I'd always know why.
Yeah, there was definitely a sense of that.
I'd be playing it and it never felt like, well, this was just cheap and stupid, except for in some of the bosses. But I remember there were these dudes that would throw these things at you that would explode after they hit you. They'd stick to you for a bit and then explode. And they made a sound or something. And every time I died to them, they're like, I remember that happening and I didn't do something about it. It's my fault I died. I'm going to kill these fuckers now. I really enjoyed the first Ninja Gaiden and I'm looking forward to playing it again. And I really hope he shows up in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, like that seemed to be the time. Ninja Gaiden trilogy, Ryu Hayabusa. Here it is. I was also kind of excited about the Famicom Detective Club.
That was the other one.
That's pretty cool.
What? So here's this modern remake of 2 Famicom games that have never been localized. The series has never been to the West before. And like Metopia, this was another pull that I never in a billion years would have thought Nintendo would do. And yet here it is. 2 Famicom Detective Club games. Okay, sure. Go for it.
Do it.
Have at it. No More Heroes 3 is looking great, too.
That does look great.
Holy shit, that looks good. I love this story. I love everything about this thing. It looks great.
Yeah, we were watching the direct, and the girls were like, "What? Huh?"
The first 2 games are about,
there's just not enough time.
The first 2 are very, like, not grounded in reality, but it's like you're fighting assassins and stuff. This time's, fuck it, aliens.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah,
give me all of the aliens. I want Travis in space. I'm so excited.
The most important thing, though, that they announced, most important, and I say this, I know it sounds like I'm setting up to be shitty. I 100% am not setting up to be shitty. I am earnest when I say this. On March 16th of this year, I will be purchasing Stubbs the Zombie to play on my Switch. I fucking love that game so much. I love that soundtrack so much. When Tiff and I got married, Ben Gibbard's cover of Earth Angel from the Stubbs the Zombie fucking soundtrack was the song we danced to first.
That's awesome.
I adore it.
Yeah, I know people love this game. I've never played it.
So goofy and so just weird in the best kind of way. It's got this really just oozing with charm that, oh god, it's fucking wonderful. It's wonderful. I am very excited about it.
The last thing I will mention is I feel at this point that there's people at Square who are daring each other to come up with the worst possible names.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, all right, so we're gonna start this studio. We're gonna Project Bravely Default. Fuck it. We're going to stick with it. This game is called Bravely Default.
Yep.
All right, what are we up to next? We'll call this Project Octopath Traveler. Now we're going to stick with that. That was somehow worse than Bravely Default.
Yeah, what is an
And
octopath?
yet, Project Triangle Strategy. Now, this game is not for me. I've never been a tactics guy, but looking at it, I'm drooling over these screenshots. Like, this game is gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks great.
I don't ever want to stop looking at it.
I'm so shocked that it's
The
not about
Salt
basketball.
Iron War. Fuck you.
Yeah. I really am.
God.
I am shocked. Shocked it is not about basketball. Because that is the only triangle strategy that I know is fucking basketball defense and offense.
I'm just completely...
It's how the Chicago Bulls won all those championships, Chris. They played the triangle, man. I'm not even bullshitting. That's how they did it.
Maybe that's the back half of the game. It starts off as a strategy game, then it turns into a basketball sim. I don't know. All right, the last thing to talk about, the Nintendo Direct behind us, before we take our break and get to the actual meat of the show. Oh, God, there's so much to do, but really we should talk about the Mortal Kombat movie trailer. What'd you think?
We have one more thing to talk about after that.
Okay.
It's news that just broke at 8 o'clock tonight.
Oh,
I was way more underwhelmed by that trailer than seemingly everyone else. Everybody else was like, this looks fucking amazing. And I was like, I don't know. Something about it that just does it. I'm going to watch it, obviously. But I'm not as hyped as everybody else is.
Well, you know why I'm hyped about it is that it doesn't look like trash.
Well, no, sure.
Like, I saw this trailer and like, you know what? This doesn't look awful. And that's really a genuine shock to me that this does not look terrible.
No, it doesn't look terrible at all.
Yeah, and that's really where my hype comes from. Like, this could actually not be a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
And it's definitely doing more video gamey stuff, but not in the way that Mortal Kombat Annihilation did. I like how they ripped Jax's arms off right in the beginning of the trailer.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
That was very cool.
Scorpion looks really cool. I think him saying "get over here" doesn't sound quite right in the trailer, but
Nah, seemed weird.
But really, outside of that, I'm looking at this like this looks all right. I'm also with you. I was like, I've seen a lot of people like, oh my God, it looks so amazing. I'm like, well,
No,
I
it
don't know
doesn't.
that it looks amazing, but it certainly looks cool.
And like, you know how I feel about Kung Fu movies. You know how much I love Mortal Kombat. I was whelmed. Neither under or over.
I mean, I'm looking at it now, and I didn't even realize this the first time where he cut Scorpion, froze his blood into a knife in midair, and then stabbed him with it.
Oh, see, I thought that was the coolest part of the trailer. I saw that, and I was
really
like,
cool.
That's fucking dope. I like that.
Yeah,
But-
I'm into a lot of this. I'm into the fact that they're throwing fireballs and stuff. They're not really trying to play around with this not being a goofy ass movie, but I'm in.
Yeah. I do.
No Johnny Cage.
No, well, maybe not. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so last thing. At 8 o'clock, a story on Kotaku broke. Said, don't worry, there are enough analog pockets for everyone.
Right. We saw this earlier today, actually. Analog did a whole post about how they're doing their best to, like, combat bots and scalpers.
Their announcement says, all orders placed using bots will be canceled and their inventory will be allocated to real users. Analog will be monitoring resale websites like eBay to report scalpers, reselling pre-orders, resales of analog products that the seller does not have in their possession. This is against eBay's policies, and we will be reporting these listings to eBay directly. All pre-orders found to be listed for resale will be canceled. It seems like they should just put it up for order for a month, and then let everybody buy it. You have a month, 2 months, like make an announcement a month before, and then the next month, have it up for sale for a month, and then when you're done, just make those. That seems easier. Am I crazy there?
No.
That seems like a way easier way to do this. Because then you don't have any pre-sellers. Because you just get it. You know? I mean, you'll still have some, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, this is great, and I love this. I want one of these very much. I want to have one device that can play all of my handheld shit. It looks gorgeous. I think it's great. I love the way that they're handling this. I hope everybody is able to get one. I really do.
I hope you do too. They're all still a little rich for my blood. But
oh yeah, it's way more expensive than I want to pay, certainly, but I want one.
Yeah, I definitely want them. There's no question about that. I want their products in my face. But
I want this, and I mainly, honestly, want this for the TV adapter. I want that fucking thing.
Oh, right. For their, what is it? The Pocket has an AV out, or not AV, HDMI out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty snazzy.
That's the thing I want. I want to get that. I want to be able to play, you know, I want us to get one. I want us to work with, you know, Ryan and fucking, you know, put the carts on it and review it and do all of that stuff. It's a gorgeous thing. And I really want the big screen dock. Because there's so many of those games, like, I want to play Advance Wars on my TV again, you know? I don't want to play it on my computer. I can. I don't want to. I just don't want to, Chris.
Well, I tell you what, one more thing worth pointing out is Dan is now in Street Fighter V and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, his taunt is outstanding. Great.
I'm just watching the trailer right now of him fighting Sagat, and he still has the throw where it's like he messes up the first half of it and then he tries again and gets to throw you. He looks wonderful.
He's a wonderful character.
Good job. Right. Let's take ourselves a break. When we come back, we'll try to blow through the 10, 20, 30, 40 as quickly as we can because, oh, what a front half of the episode we've had.
We really have. This has been big.
Yeah.
Big front half, Chris.
You've listened to the Funny Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. Are you enjoying the podcast you're listening to right now? Of course you are. But did you know that it's just one part of an entire network of geek-related goodness? Geekade.com is your one-stop shop for fresh original content no matter what your geek is. Each week you'll find articles and podcasts about comic books, horror movies, X-Men, music, video games, music in video games, Transformers, anime, TV shows, tabletop gaming, wrestling, beer, and more. And hey, if you want to help us create even more original content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. That's available at patreon.com/geekade. What's your geek?
Hey guys, it's Dean, the Vestlord DeFalco, and I am here to give you the lowdown about where you can find the Vestlord now. The jet-flying, limousine-riding, kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing son of a gun that he is over on twitch.tv/vest_lord. We got all sorts of new stuff. We got sub-badges. We got emotes. We got branded content. We got vests. We got lots of vests. Let me tell you guys. Every time we beat a game, we put it on the back of a vest, and we shadow box it at the end of the year, so you can go ahead and check that out. We do all sorts of streams. There's community nights. There's challenge nights. We do multiplayer nights with some of the people from A Dude, A Lord, and The Truth. That's my new podcast, so go ahead and check that out on Geekade. And be sure to jump in the Discord if you're not already there. There's a handy link in the show notes, guys, so be sure to check that out. Oh, man, it's crazy. I think that covers everything. We're going to throw you back to your normally scheduled podcast. But again, stop by, give us a follow, show us some love. You know the Vessler is going to want to see you there. He loves seeing everyone. We want to grow this community even more. We're at almost 500 strong, and we want to get to like 1 billion followers. 1.5 billion maybe. 1.5 billion. I think we could do that. So we'll see you there. Once again, that's twitch.tv/vest_lord.
Geekade is looking for some partners. If you have something you'd like to advertise on any of our podcasts, our powerful overlords are ready to talk to you. Send your proposal to mail@geekade.com with the words podcast ads in the subject line, and our diligent army of trained ants will put you in touch with the head of our advertising department. With a weekly audience that reaches well into the dozens, Geekade is the perfect place to get your ads into the ears of the right people. Once again, that's mail@geekade.com. Send your ad in today.
And we're back. It's time for the 10, 20, 30, 40. And I got to get my spreadsheet open because we didn't actually take a break.
Oh, wait. Never mind. Take two.
No.
Did you take a break?
We're here.
Okay,
I'm in it. I'm in. I'm on this. I'm all over this like stink on rice.
That's right. It's my favorite kind of rice. Stinky.
Captain Hazel Hank Murphy. All right, so let's go to February. Bionic Commando Rearmed 2 came out for Xbox Live and PlayStation Network.
Feel like I wanted to play that. Well, I don't feel like it. I did want to play those, but didn't.
Yeah, same here. Everyone told me I should get around to playing it.
Yeah. I love Bionic Commando. Also, don't know why. I can't really explain why I love that first game as much as I do. It's
just really cool.
Yeah, it's super frustrating, but I like it a lot.
And I heard the rearmed games were great. I don't know why I didn't play them either.
Yeah.
Mario Sports Mix came out for the Wii.
Did it? I know nothing about that one.
This was 10 years ago, by the way. That's where we're at now.
The people know, Kris.
For the Purples. Yeah, Mario Sports Mix was another Square Enix developed one, and I don't know.
Was it good? Did people like it?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I think when they started like shoving all the sports games together, it was like, well, I don't know what you're doing here.
But all right.
I had never heard of a game called Tales from Space about a blob.
Oh, yeah. I have. It's Drinkbox.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one before. Is it any good?
It's a little like puzzle platformer thing. Yeah, it's fun. It's not mind-blowing or anything, but like it's fun, and it's a cool little character design, and some of the way the levels are designed are they are evocative of like early Sonic levels when you would like be going through all the tubes and all the stuff and be like, oh, this is really cool. You know, when you would like roll into the ball and it would just take you on this predetermined thing through. It was like, oh, this is neat. I like this. Same kind of feel to a lot of it. Not as fast, certainly, but yeah.
Well,
cool.
this was a thing that definitely was kind of important at the time. Back to the Future, the game.
Yeah, I have it. I've never played it. I have it on my PS3.
Yeah,
that sounds right?
Well, yeah, it was PS3, maybe 360 as well.
Possibly.
Yeah, it showed up on a bunch of different platforms, but yeah, this was like supposedly the closest you'll ever get to a Back to the Future sequel.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a really hard time with adventure games a lot of times when they are not made by Tim Schafer.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You know,
I'm also not I like Back to the Future, but it's not like it wasn't one of those life-altering things for me. I didn't see it until way later, so
sure.
I didn't have that same connection. But I was very, very excited 10 years ago to get my hands on Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds. It had been a while since MVC2, and I was a huge MVC2 fan. And MVC3 didn't quite stick the landing for me.
It didn't. The graphics change is what...
The graphics change was less of what it was for me. I mean, I didn't hate the graphics. I vastly prefer the 2D hand-drawn stuff, but the graphics were okay. Like, I understood it, and I think what killed it for me was watching the game at EVO and it really just devolved into whoever hits first, that's it.
Yeah.
You hit first, and then you may as well just put your controller down and walk away, because they're just going to combo you until it's over.
It was definitely not a very well balanced game. It's a lot of what I felt with this last Dragon Ball Fighter Z, like getting trapped in a corner in that game. It's like, all right, well, I mean, this just isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, kind of a bummer. I liked Tatsunoko versus Capcom way better than MVC3.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, you know, I know the graphics is like the easy thing to poke at, but what I liked so much about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was that it looked like a comic book fight.
Exactly.
And this looked like a video game, and it just didn't hit as hard for me.
Agreed, 100%. Now, granted, it wasn't as bad as Infinite, which I didn't care for at all, but this
I didn't even
still,
play Infinite.
I didn't either.
So
I hate that one. I hated the look of it so much it made me not want to play it. And something like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, if I hated the look, I still would have played it because it was still Marvel vs. Capcom. But since MVC 3 didn't impress me all that much, when Infinite rolled around and I hated the look of it, I was like, no. Yeah, I'm just going to tag out. I'm just going to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and be happy.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 got so much better with Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Right, yeah. They threw Strider and stuff back in, but
that's not what we're talking about. So
nope. Yeah.
Judging it based on what it was didn't blow my skirt up.
Yeah. Hardcore Uprising came out. That's another game I've never played. It's apparently Contra-esque. Contra-adjacent. Contra, but without the name.
Yes, Contra-adjacent. I've never played it either, but I've heard the same comparison, which is weird because I thought I was one of the only people who had stolen a Jace from somebody else, but that's
stole it from you.
It's the only way people talk about Hardcore Uprising is by calling it a Jace.
Well, I mean, the reason I never touched it was that it's effectively a sequel to Contra Hardcore. I don't like Contra Hardcore.
No.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's very good at what it does. You know, people love Contra Hardcore, but I'm not one of those people, so I didn't play Hardcore Uprising.
Not one of those assholes.
I mean, let's see. What else was of importance? Killzone 3?
Killzone's great.
The series just kind of died off, though, right? Like
it did.
It was the Halo killer, and like I think that was their biggest problem, was calling it a Halo killer, because like
so was Resistance, and so was however many other things have come out, and you're
Haze
right,
or whatever. Like, just if it had lived on its own 2 feet, or was Killzone the one that had that completely fake ass trailer? That's what that was. Remember the first Killzone had that completely fake ass trailer at E3? It was like, oh my god, PlayStation 3 games can look this good, and Sony's like, yep, yep,
no, they can't.
We did it. It's right here. This is the future game. And then the game comes out like, well, this looks like a PlayStation 3 game. Where's that trailer? Oh, that was just
just
footage. Yeah, things happen.
Yeah, no, I like the Killzone series. I don't love it. You know what I mean? Like I like it. It's good. It's not the be all end all of video game shooters. It's got some interesting. It's got some interesting ways that it works through the world, and the story was decent and all of those things. But overall, it's just a shooter.
Well, that's 10 years ago. That's February 2011.
I'm much more impressed with what Guerrilla went on to do afterwards with Horizon. Yeah, because that shit's fucking dope.
Well, let's jump in the time machine and go 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we're looking at N64, PlayStation, Dreamcast, PS2, GameCube, Xbox, PC, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance were the consoles on the market. And I don't really have a lot here.
No.
I mean, it's February. February is never a huge month. So it was we had one N64 release. Right, the GameCube and Xbox hadn't come out yet. They weren't until like November. So yeah, we're all those platforms minus GameCube and Xbox. N64 had Paper Mario, the first Paper Mario.
Pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, it was a very big deal. I mean, this was the follow-up to Mario RPG before it kind of really redefined itself as a proper spin-off series. But the original Paper Mario is a very well-loved game, and with good reason. It was really clever because the N64 had that problem of being super muddy, and so they kind of made that work for them by making the characters look like paper cutouts, and it was a really clever visual gimmick. I've never played through it, but I have played some of it, and I rather enjoyed my time with it. I never gave it as much time of day as I should have, though, because it wasn't Mario RPG 2.
Right.
And that's what I wanted. Like, I want more of Mario RPG, and because it wasn't what I wanted and I was young and stupid, I gave up on the game for not being something that it wasn't.
You didn't make the thing I wanted, you fuck.
Yeah.
Which is exactly how you sound.
I was the fuck all along.
You were. That's, again, something we all say about you.
Meanwhile, over on the PlayStation, we had two major releases. We had Fear Effect 2, which, did you ever get into Fear Effect? I didn't get into that one.
A little bit. I liked it. It was another one of those ones where it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. I don't need to go whole hog into this, but this is all right.
I remember selling a bunch of copies of this game. Like, I remember this game was kind of a big deal when it launched. The other one was Mega Man X5.
Yeah.
Which I think people hate. I don't remember.
Fear Effect was just a big deal because the character was a lesbian.
Right. And they really played that up.
They really did. And good for that. I mean, it definitely helped to bring some awareness. You know, like it somewhat tried to normalize that, and they did. They certainly played up on the sexuality of it and all of those things.
It felt super exploitative to me. I felt like it came from a position of like, hey, want to watch two girls make out? Huh? Like, that's what all the advertising felt like to me, which is why it didn't really strike me as even remotely progressive. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I never played the game. So
from playing it, I don't remember it, honestly. And I could be rose-colored glasses this situation. I don't remember it being super exploitative.
Well, that certainly would be something for a video game of this vintage.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I could be.
We are in the original PlayStation 1 Tomb Raider era, so
yeah, I could be way off. I really honestly could. I may be misremembering. I fully cop to that. I don't remember it feeling like an exploitation film. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to go back and look at it.
I'm trying to remember. I know people didn't like X6. Was X5 also? No, it's got decent scores.
Decent enough.
Yeah, I feel like wow. PSM, official PlayStation Magazine, gave it a 1 out of 10. Are you serious?
Yeesh.
Wow.
That's not great from what I understand.
It's pretty brutal. Yeah, I fell off of the X series fast, so I don't know.
Yeah, I never stuck with X all that much. It's okay.
So let's see, the Dreamcast still kicking after the launch of the PlayStation 2 last what was it, October? Not kicking great though. This month they saw the release of KO the Kangaroo and Record of Lotus War. I mean, I've heard of Record the Lotus War.
Yeah.
And KO the Kangaroo is one of those 3D platformers. I don't even think it has a cult following. I could be wrong.
I believe it does. I know nothing about it, so I don't want to shit on it or praise it when I actually have no idea what I'm talking about.
It was eventually ported to PS2, right? Wait, no. KO I think it had sequels on PS2. The first one was originally released in Poland, it seems. Okay. That's neat. So it's a very European game. And it was on the Dreamcast. Originally, it debuted in November 23rd of 2000 in Poland on Windows. It was on Dreamcast in North America February 13th, 2001, and eventually got ported to Game Boy Advance. The reception was uniformly middling.
That is not high praise.
A lot of 5 and 6 out of 10. So I remember when it launched not thinking it was all that special besides it's KAO, the kangaroo. Obviously, kangaroo with boxing gloves, KO, get it? Boxing.
Yeah.
But you look at it, it's like, what's Cow the kangaroo? This is stupid.
Did anyone really? I mean, I don't know that I even considered that somebody would not understand that was KO the kangaroo.
Oh, God, everybody did.
Really?
Well, I worked in the store where somebody asked who Tom Brader was. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Everyone called it Technu. It's fucking phonetic, you assholes. Why are you putting the C? It's Tenchu, not Technu. What is wrong with you? For years, and it wasn't just one guy, it was everyone. I need Technu on PlayStation. You need to look at letters.
I feel like your boss at the time must have been fucking with you. Like, got a couple people together. It was like, yo, go in and ask Kris for Technu.
For years. If it was an isolated incident, it would be one thing, but it was something in the water. It was something nearby to my Funko land where everybody called every Tenchu game Technu for years.
Yeah. It's one of those things, Kris, and the only reason that I even bring it up is because you are a delightful, wonderful person, and I love you dearly, but you're really fun to fuck with sometimes.
I'm fully aware of that.
You explode in a way that is just fucking hysterical for the rest of us, which is not a nice thing to do at all. It's not what someone who cares about another human should do to that person, but it's so funny.
Believe me, I understand. Evan has pulled the War of the Worlds trigger with me many times.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, it is a possibility that your boss wanted to fuck with you on purpose.
It's a possibility, but I also know for a fact that a large portion of my clientele was really fucking stupid. So,
it's a fair point.
Take with that what you will. The PlayStation 2 had 4 releases of worth note: Knockout Kings 2001, NHL Face-Off 2001, ATV Off-Road Fury, and Star Wars Starfighter.
Those are all really good games.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Like, I mean, honestly, for February, fucking Knockout Kings, though.
Knockout Kings was cool. I remember really liking ATV Off-Road Fury. That was one of those things that stuck around because everyone had it. I think it was given away for free with the system for a while, or maybe that was Off-Road Fury 2. I don't know. But that was it wasn't amazing, but it was fun. And the first Star Wars Starfighter was pretty decent too.
Yeah, I mean, decent games. I could really be into a new Knockout Kings. It's not it's not Fight Night, which is what that eventually got rebranded into. Mm-hmm. But man, I love boxing games. Love them. Anyway,
let's travel 30 years into the past to 1991, February of 1991. So we're looking at stuff like NES, Master System. The Genesis was on the market at this time. The TurboGrafx 16 was out. Game Boy, Game Gear, Lynx, arcade games were still a thing. So let's see what we have here. The NES. This is 1991, so the Super Nintendo hadn't come out yet, and neither had Sonic the Hedgehog. So the NES was still absolutely king of the roost and had a really, really good month. Like, holy shit. We have Double Dragon 3, which I love this game.
It's the thirdest of the Double Dragons, for sure.
It's super flawed. It's way better than its shitty arcade counterpart.
Yeah, that game is garbage.
Double Dragon 3 in arcades is trash, and it was like really disturbing when I finally found a Double Dragon 3 arcade machine. It was like, what the hell is this? But the NES game is great. It's super hard, way harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good in it. I really like Double Dragon 3. Good music, You could play as the different characters, like Chin, who was the brother of Chintai from the first Double Dragon, who I just thought was such a cool connection. And you were trying to find the Rosetta Stones so you could read shit, I guess. I don't know. And that little Haruko lady who turned out to be the last boss in the game or something. I don't know. You could use nunchucks. It was cool. It was Billy Bare Hands. This was the Bimmy and Jimmy meme comes from Double Dragon 3. And if you use it says my friend Kris, when we were younger, he said this and it always cracked me up when I first got the game. Because, it said your character's name and then it said the weapon underneath. And when your weapon was the bare hands, it looked like your character was Billy Bare Hands. Oh, Billy Bare Hands.
Oh, Billy Bare Hands, Jimmy Bimmy.
There's Jimmy Bimmy. Bimmy Bare Hands.
Bimmy Bare Hands, Jimmy Bare Hands. Here in Adventures Bayou, Billy Bare Hands too. That's what it should have been, Chris. It really should have been. They should have really
Billy
played
Bare
into that. Old Billy Bare Hands. And it really does sound like old Billy Bare Hands really does sound like the start of a bullshit Western movie. Like, well, kids, you see, old Billy Bare Hands. like it sounds like it's about to be a fucking tall tale.
Oh my god.
About to get a story of Babe and the Blue Ox and a whole bunch of bullshit. Love it.
Oh boy. Well, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, a game that I played a lot of because I really wanted to like it, The Simpsons Bart vs. the Space Mutants, released for NES.
That game sucks.
I will proudly proclaim today that game sucks. And
It does. I love it.
I respect it because I believe this was David Crane, right? The Pitfall guy.
I think so.
Bart versus Space Mutants. Gary Kitchen. Gary Kitchen. So this is another Activision Atari guy. And I remember reading something about he put a lot of thought into how do you make a Simpsons video game, right? Because it's a sitcom. How do you make a video game out of this?
Right.
And I think he overthought it.
Yeah.
And he certainly didn't spend any time making sure it was fun. Because this game is opaque as hell. The first stage, you gotta paint shit purple or red, or it is purple and you have to make it red.
It's some weird bullshit like that. Honestly, and they just stole it for Splatoon. But
took me forever to figure out what the hell you were supposed to actually do in this game. It took me forever. And then once I did, I got to the point where I could blow through the first level super quick. And then the second stage was all about hats or something in the mall. I don't know. This game was weird as hell. But it was a Simpsons video game. And you wouldn't get a port of the arcade game at home, so this is the best you had. And the Simpsons were super big deal at the time.
Yeah.
This fucking game. We had Adventure Island 2, which I'm not touching that one. We did enough. You want to know about Adventure Island? Go back and listen to the episode. I'm not talking about it anymore.
Nope.
But that's where the fruit joke came from at the top of the episode.
That's right.
Let's move on. Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom. I've always loved the name of this game, but I've never played it.
Best. We're playing it this year for the summer series. I'm not even putting that one up to a vote. We're playing fucking
awesome.
Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom. It actually is it makes a lot of hidden gem lists.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I mean, the name has always intrigued me. When I was a kid, I never saw it in person. I remember hearing about it and seeing it in ads, but I'd never seen a copy of the cart in person. So
Yeah.
I never went back to try and play it when I got older. But Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom. Is this in any way related to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
I do not believe so.
That's fucking weird.
That it's not related to it?
How many tomato properties are there? There was Quirk on Game Boy. There's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. There's Princess Tomato in the Salad. That's 3 separate tomato-based franchises. That's weird, right? I'm not crazy.
None of them involving ketchup in any way. whatsoever. Burger Time, theoretically, you could make the argument. There's a through line there to that.
Yeah,
being...
sure. Short Order and Explode, sure. There are games with tomatoes in them, but these are sentient tomato-based games, and there's 3 of them I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more.
There probably is. I mean, but think about back in the day, Chris. We were getting regularly cartoons and toy lines like fucking Barnyard Commando. You know what I mean? Like, is that really that big of a fucking stretch?
I suppose not.
I think about what the late 80s, early 90s were. It was a goddamn fever dream. All the fucking time.
There was a lot of cocaine in the world.
Oh my God, there's so much cocaine. So much.
Well, moving on to something that is I have played. Metal Storm for NES came out.
Oh, I love that game.
That game is great. Way too hard, but really cool.
Oh, so hard. So hard. It's really fun, though. It's got a really cool mechanic. Like it. It's got a good cover.
3 came out. Akari Warriors is another franchise I never really got into.
I mean, it's Commando. It's, it's that kind of shooter military thing. It's good.
I've learned through Jeremy Parish's videos that the original Akari Warriors on NES is nothing short of a travesty. And I think Akari Warriors 2 got really fucking weird. I'm looking at a video of Akari 3 and it's pretty rad looking. I don't know if it's actually
hating
good.
Akari Warriors.
Apparently
maybe I didn't know any better.
The NES port's like super hard to control or something. Like
I don't remember it being super hard to control. I mean, maybe Jeremy Parish just needs to get good.
Ooh.
Is that
damn?
Is that what it is? That's right. Shots fired. I'm trying the bullshit hot takes, seeing if it gets us some clicks, seeing if we can be like, I don't know. Jeremy Parish loves Tommy Tallarico. Like, can we just throw a bunch of names together?
Jesus fucking Christ!
That'd be our episode title. QAnon supporters?
Put that that'll be our thumbnail. Get a really big question mark on there.
Can we just do it in Tucker Carlson voice the whole time for the rest of the show? I mean, imagine if you would. Jeremy Parish loves Tommy Tallarico. I mean, maybe. He might not. But maybe he does. What a work. And I'll make the stupid fucking Tucker Carlson face, which you can't see because it's not a video podcast, but...
Oh, my God.
For those of you who don't know who Tucker Carlson is, that was scarily accurate.
That was really spot on.
Yeah.
But not spot on for Jeremy Parish. That man's a national treasure.
Oh.
I spend a lot of time watching his YouTube channel. Like, a lot.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's almost always on in the background, just like plowing through all of his video work series. The guy's a genius, and we can't lose him. He's doing important work.
No,
he must
also
be protected.
hates kittens. It's very weird.
Very weird. And then finally we have a game that I very intentionally never tried. We have Ski or Die for NES.
Oh, man, that game sucks.
I remember seeing that and saying, no, I don't. No, I'm sorry.
No, I don't think so. No, thanks, I'm full.
So. I loved Skate or Die. When I saw Ski or Die, I was like, I don't think that translates. This isn't the same thing.
No, the game sucks on toast.
I'm looking at a video of it. There's like a snowball throwing game. Yeah. Rodney's in it, right? He's there looking like Rodney Dangerfield, but now he's in a ski shop for some reason. This game doesn't look very good. I don't know what's happening here. I just thought it was hilarious that this is where they went next. Ski or Die. Like skateboarding had that whole punk thing to it, you know? You call it Skate or Die, and it's like, yeah, all right, I can follow the logic of this naming convention because it had that whole like this was an extreme sport punk thing. Skiing never really struck me as like this is a really punk thing. Maybe if it was just snowboarding, you probably could have played that edge up, but then when you
snowboarding would have worked.
Snowboard or Die?
Border Die? I don't know. It eventually just became Cool Borders, and like that was what they should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Still, that's the NES lineup for February of 91. The Master System, on the other hand, had a single release, which was Castle of Illusion.
It's a great fucking game. It's great.
I never got into the Castle of Illusion games, or any of the Illusion games with Mickey Mouse.
They're
Master
good.
System version, I'm sure is very good.
I mean, it's the Genesis version is better, obviously, but it's good. Good.
Over on the Genesis, though, that was the single release. In case anyone's wondering why the why the Master System couldn't compete with the NES.
Yeah.
The Genesis, however, was picking up some steam. They were definitely heading in a direction. We have what is this one? What is Airbuster? I have this game. I'm trying to remember what it is. Is this another shooter?
Airbuster? I believe so.
Airbuster. I think it's another scrolling shooter. I need more information. Give me a screenshot. Give me something. Yes. Okay, I know this game. All right. So you had 3 games released on the Genesis: Gyres, Airbuster, and Musha. Gyres, was that another shooter? Yeah. So Gyres, Airbuster, and Musha were all scrolling shooters for the Genesis that month. But Musha is a freaking classic, man. Pretty sure you're not here anymore. I lost Dan.
Damn it. I hit the button again. I'm sorry.
Hit the button again.
I'm sitting here talking to you.
I'm watching the little thing going on the Google Meet, but
I'm talking.
Airbuster and Gyres don't really have much of a legacy, I don't think.
No,
but
Moosh is great though.
Moosh is great. And that game is definitely one of the most expensive Genesis games out there too.
Which is why you should, find a sucker.
Let's see, because I think I have all 3 of those. Musha completes running for like $700 right now.
That's insanity.
Absolutely.
It's not that good. It's good, but goddamn.
How do you spell Gyres?
Isn't it Gyrus?
No, that's Gyrus. That's a different game. There it is, Gyres. That's going complete for about $48.
Oh, well.
Oh, no, that's going loose for $48. I only have a loose one. I thought I had the box for that. Oh, well. And then Airbuster, I'm pretty sure I have that too. Let's see. Thank you, Game Eye.
Yeah, it's a good app. We should talk to that guy.
I have that one complete and that one's going for about $100.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, some solid Genesis games right there. But Musha, that's the one with the legacy, and that game rules.
I think I like Airbuster more than a lot of people did. Also, then became a Final Fantasy villain. So there's that.
Let's see, Kung Fu Master for Game Boy.
Kung Fu Master for Game Boy?
This is that kind of sequel, though. It's not arcade Kung Fu Master. I think
this was... No, trying to remember if I've played this.
It's from IREM. What was this game called on other platforms? Farts. What was the Kung Fu sequel?
Farts, huh? That's what you went with? All right.
Oh, fudge.
I do remember this though. Yeah, on the back of the box. Have you looked at the back of the box?
I was just looking at a video, and I definitely remember this game, but I feel like it's... Why is this happening? Why are you doing this? Spartan X 2, right? We got some sort of sequel to Kung Fu called Spartan X, and I feel like that's what this Game Boy game is a port of. Kung Fu 2. What is this? Spartan X2. There was a all right. Okay, so Spartan X2 happened, and then there was a fan translation that called it Kung Fu 2 to play in America. And I believe I'm looking at the video now, and this does seem to be like that's what this Game Boy game is a more or less port of, I believe.
I don't think I ever played this. I think I wanted to play it because Kung Fu game.
Yeah.
It looks
neat.
good.
Yeah, it looks very good. I can definitely attest to this one. Operation C came out for the Game Boy. This game is fantastic.
Yeah.
Operation C is like a full Contra game that functions like a proper Contra game. This game got everything that Castlevania Adventure got wrong right.
Yep.
And it was the first original Contra game that wasn't based on an arcade property. So this was the first one developed for a home system. It was the first one with the homing missiles. It had background animations that the NES game was missing from the Famicom translation. Operation C is great. It's a little short, but it's real Contra, even without the 2-player mode. It's just love
yeah,
that game.
it's much better than it has any right to be on the Game Boy. This is one of those like looking at it like, God, all right.
Yeah, like they just
good for you.
Well, there was a lot of that kind of stuff on the Game Boy where they made these really great sequels. I'm doing a whole series on these right now on Stone Age Gamer, where I'm writing about these kind of underappreciated Game Boy sequels that helped evolve franchises. Like,
right,
Black and White Game Boy was a haven for all this really interesting experimental stuff. Like, you look at Metroid to Super Metroid. Metroid 2 really is that connective tissue. It added so much to Metroid that was then perfected in Super Metroid. Operation C is what led to Contra 3: The Alien Wars, which is, interestingly enough, when it was debuted in Nintendo Power, they called it Contra 4: The Alien Wars, because Operation C was Contra 3. And obviously Kid Icarus didn't get a third one until 3DS, but I'm trying to think other ones like even like just ones that were straight up sequels in unique ways, like Tennis was just this evolution of Tennis for Game Boy. Golf was an evolution of Golf for NES in like really good ways. I think the Golf was the first battery backed up Game Boy game, I think, like,
which is so silly.
But Game Boy was such a great place for this kind of platformer evolution, and there's really so much good stuff on there. And Operation C killed it. Castlevania Belmont's Revenge, that killed it for handheld Castlevania. Absolutely, that was an awesome Game Boy sequel. Radar Mission was a game that came out for Game Boy. I think it was published by Nintendo. I'm trying to remember what this game really is, because I know this is one of those ones that I had seen a lot of and I never bought. What are you, Radar Mission? What kind of game are you?
Submarine game, right?
Oh, it's Battleship.
Radar Mission is Battleship?
It's Battleship. It's 100% Battleship. That's what this is. Okay. F1 Race also came out for Game Boy, and I remember this one being a big deal because this had that 4-player adapter thing.
Yeah.
That was cool. And this game's pretty fun. This is like a pseudo sequel to the series that started on NES, the F1 series.
Right.
What the heck was that first one called on? I think it was just called F1 Race on Famicom, but that never came out here because people don't care about Formula One in America the way they do the rest of the world. But this 4-player adapter thing was super cool, and it also has these really great victory sequences with all these different Nintendo characters. It's really wild cameos. F1 Race cameos. Game Boy. I'm trying to think of all the characters that were in it because it's a lot. All right,
because it's a whole bunch.
Toad, Mario, Luigi, Princess Toadstool, Link, Pit, Samus, Donkey Kong, and Bowser are all in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's so cool. Like all these, I think it's playing through the single player mode or whatever. Yeah, challenge courses. 2 is Toad, 3 is Luigi, 4 is Princess Peach, 5 is Link, 6 is Mario, 7 is Samus, 8 is Pit, 9 is Donkey Kong, 10 is Bowser.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's awesome. And they're just these totally unique sprites for every one of these characters, just like jumping up and down and waving at the screen. I just love it so much. It's so cool. It's like when they're all on the end of when you're playing Tetris on NES and then everyone's standing around playing those instruments. It's one of those things. It's just like, well, this is just great. This is just wonderful.
Happening? Yeah.
Then we're going to move on to the Atari Lynx, which was the Game Boy's competition at the time. And the Atari Lynx had a single release, which was Bill and Ted, which I'm sure was great.
I mean, probably the best Bill and Ted game you could play.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure for the Atari Lynx. So I'm looking at some gameplay right now. Mm-hmm. It is very top down, like almost to a disturbing degree. Like I'm looking at a pyramid and it's a square that comes to a point in the middle. Like it is top down.
Sure.
So you're seeing like very little of their legs while they're walking around.
Which there's nothing creepy about that.
I've played very little of like the NES Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure game, and I didn't like it. And this doesn't look fantastic either. So I think we should just move on. So we're still in the 30, and last, certainly not least, this is kind of a big deal that I'm very sad didn't get any attention. The original Lemmings came out for PC. I believe it hit Amiga first in Europe. But
okay,
it was...
I will take your word for it. I am not a fan.
Oh, I love Lemmings. February 14th, 1991 is the European release of the Amiga version, which I believe was the very first version. It was also came out in 91 for DOS and Mac OS, Atari ST, ZX Spectrum, Archimedes, PC 98, and then got ported to pretty much everything else under the sun over the years. My initial play with this was on the Super Nintendo. It was the first time I played it, and I fell in love. Love the music, love the puzzles. I love everything about Lemmings. I just love this game. And I'm super sad that nothing really seemed to happen for the 30th anniversary of this game.
Yeah, no, it kind of went by the wayside, and I kind of feel like how they feel about Lemmings is how I feel about Lemmings. So
it's not like they stopped making Lemmings games. I mean, let's see. What's the latest Lemmings release? List of Lemmings games. I know there was one not that long ago. Lemmings, the official game. What were you released on? 2018, there was Lemmings, the official game on iOS and Android. Funky art style. That's kind of cute. Anyway, I love Lemmings. Put Lemmings on more things. I want to play Lemmings again. I love that game. Such a fun game. Okay. All right. Time to jump into the 40 here. Got some heavy hitters. There's one release I could find for Atari 2600 in February of 1981, before I was born.
Yeah.
And that was Othello.
Oh, love Othello.
I love Othello. I always thought that the guy on the cover art looked like Tim Curry. I never had Othello for 2600 until way later, but I did have the board game, and I always wanted the video game. My parents were like, "But you have the board game." I said, yeah, but this is. But look at it; it's got Tim Curry on the bottom.
It's got Tim fucking Curry, Mom.
I mean, I'm sure the Atari game's just fine. Like, it's Othello. How do you mess that up? But I loved this board game, and I always thought the 2600 game, I just wanted it so badly because I wanted to play the board game on my Atari because I love video games so damn much. But yeah, that's a cool release. I didn't find any Intellivision releases for February, but I did come across two arcade releases. First is Scramble.
I know Scramble. Why do I know Scramble?
It's kind of like this just came out on the Konami thing that I was talking about recently.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a neat game. I never played the arcade one. I had played when we were just talking about it a few weeks ago for that Konami Arcade Classics collection. That was the first time I'd played it, and it's a pretty cool game. I understand why it didn't catch on because it's not super user friendly.
Yeah.
It also released against Defender.
Yeah. I mean,
if I'm in an arcade and I got this or Defender, like I'm playing Defender because Defender is awesome. The arcade game was like super challenging because the control scheme was so weird where you just had 2 buttons to press, one for forward, one for backward. And so I wound up playing Defender on the 2600 a lot. I loved Defender on 2600.
Yeah, Defender's great.
I didn't know about Defender, the arcade version's controls. So when I was much older, I came across Defender in the arcade, and I finally played it, and I couldn't do shit.
Yeah.
That
sounds about right.
I had a hard time with that one because that game was designed to be pretty hard.
It's designed to steal your quarters.
But so both Scramble and Defender, really high quality arcade releases. Especially Defender was a really lasting kind of a property, especially for me. Defender for 2600 is one of those things I go back to all the time. And I don't know exactly when that one came out. I don't remember if that was this year. I'm sure we'll come across it if it did, because I've got my notes all put together for the rest of the year. But yeah, man.
I used to play Defender all the time at the Geets Diner in Williamstown, New Jersey. Whenever my family would go out to eat at the diner, they had Defender out front, and I was like, "Oh, this game is the best."
That game is so darn cool.
It is. It's great.
I loved the whole concept of like you'd have to save the people, and if you didn't, they'd turn them into monsters you have to kill. It was just the coolest damn thing. I loved it. Man, Defender's awesome. Well,
Defender rules.
That's it. We're going out on a high note this time. That was
all right. That never happens.
Yeah, usually when we get down here, I think last month we talked about Reversi and Space Armada for Intellivision. It's like, okay,
all right.
But
those were indeed games.
All 3 of those were cool things. Like, board games on your TV were still pretty novel, I guess, back in 1981. And Othello is just an awesome board game, no matter how you slice it. We play, what do they call it on Clubhouse games? They don't call it Othello, but either way, I love playing that on there. God, my wife kicks my ass at those. Next month, though. Next month, you got some real killers on the 2600. I can't wait. Anyway, that's our show. That was a long one. We keep doing that. Yeah, we have.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fine.
You got to give the people what they want, Chris.
Yes, and what the people want is more of us.
More of us. So next week, I like your idea, but I'm going to pitch this to you right here at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Not only do I think that we should rank all of the Zelda games.
Okay.
I think we should suggest the order in which they should be played.
Ooh, okay.
For maximum enjoyment. Because if you're going to, like, the completionist run through the Zelda games, where do you put the CDI games? Do you put them at the beginning?
I can
put them
answer
in the middle?
this. I can answer this one right now. You play them in release order. The end.
Do you think, really? I don't know that I agree with that.
If you're going to get any enjoyment, because you got to sandwich them in between, like, because that's where they were in the evolutionary chain, right? You sandwich them in between Link's Awakening and Ocarina of Time. If you're going to force yourself to play through those games, you have to not be too far removed from Zelda 2, because that's where a lot of them are based on. And then you've got to have a really good refresher afterwards, where Ocarina of Time basically reinvents the franchise. I think that's where you put them. And then everything else just kind of really works in a proper evolutionary scale. I think you playing them in release order is the way you do it.
I don't know that I agree. But
well, let's think about it and discuss it further next time.
Join
us next week when Dan and I will be ranking every Zelda game, because it's Zelda's anniversary and someone should do something about it. And we will, we will also be telling you what the proper order to play all these games in, or not play them. Like, maybe I would recommend you just don't play Phantom Hourglass. Just throwing that out there. Maybe don't play the CDI games. I mean, I guess if you have to, but I'm not going to recommend it.
No.
Anywho's, we're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, the Geekade Patreon, which helps keep this show running week after week, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ali, and before I move on... I'm a patron of Banjo Guy Ali, as you probably well know, because I love that guy and I love all the music he does. He just did It went up on his Patreon today of the Super Mario Brothers 2 character select screen. One of his best. I've listened to it like 15 times today. It's so good. It's so good.
That's what I like about Ollie.
Oh.
He does covers of the select screen. You know,
that song's a freaking classic, man. It's so good. He just did the regular Mario 2 theme not that long ago, but yeah, he'll do the cuts because he needs to do them.
Yeah,
so
he's
good.
running out of shit. So
what a tune! That song's so good. It's always been one of my favorite Mario songs. And
hey, he's a good dude. Throw money at him.
Absolutely nailed it. Seriously, if you like video game music at all, go listen to Banjo Guy Ollie's stuff and throw him money. He's just a wonderful human being. Anyway, you can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel. It's also in our show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making this show listenable for all you folks. And we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. I have to plug, I did a thing, and I'm going to get to keep doing this thing. And I was really nervous about posting it, but it seems to have gone over pretty well. I have a YouTube show called Stone Age Gaming on the Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel. And I did the first episode that went up on just yesterday, Zelda's actual anniversary, where I went through my collection of every US released Zelda game. I didn't intend for it to be almost an hour long, but if you listen to this show, you know that Dan and I can't shut up. So
this is how we do things.
I talked about Zelda games for like 50 minutes and change. That was after me editing it down a bit. But I'm going to be doing these like once or twice a month where I did a show similar to this called Into the Vault years ago, and it wasn't very good. But I'm just going through my collection and finding the weird stuff that I have and talking about it on the YouTube channel. And it's pretty fun, and I've got a really good response to the first episode. So anybody who's watched it and given me feedback, thank you very much. And if you haven't, you want to hear me talk about every Zelda game, well, there's a video of that now. So enjoy. Check out the Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel. I'm working really hard on it, and it's been really fun. That's it, everybody. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.